Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bike Time. My name is Terry Toot, and today's show will be called Make the Chips Home. We're going to talk about the production of chips or integrated circuits, semiconductors, production in the United States, because we really do need it, ladies and gentlemen, because we're getting chips, semiconductor from outside the United States. We're going to get into all that today because it's really important because that's what's really driving the price of our electronic, laptop computers, desktop computers, printers, any kind of thing that uses any kind of electronics. We're getting to all that. Why is it so important? It really is important, ladies and gentlemen, because we're entering a phase in our country where things are getting a little tight with the tariffs and everything. But I think this might be the thing that might help us in the future. All right. 'Cause right now, we're behind the eight ball in doing this. So we're gonna have a great show. Nothing going on the horizon. NBA season's over. The NBA just had their draft on Wednesday and Thursday night, and it's all Major League Baseball. So we'll get into all that. But for the time being, ladies and gentlemen, live your funk. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, my name is Terry Toot, and today's show, my show is called By Time, and today's show we called Make the Chips Home. We will talk about the future of chip and semiconductor production in the United States, which is really at the forefront right now because it's really needed. Okay. We're going to get into all the aspects. What are chips? What are integrated circuits? We're going to get into all that. I mean, it's really important. But before I go any further, um, there's nothing going on the horizon. I really don't have anything to talk about. Um, Nothing in the entertainment world I can think of. What else? There's not like I said, NBA is over with. What else is going on? Try to think. What else is going? There's absolutely nothing. It's that time of the year, which is now we're in the heart of going into the heart of the summertime. It's been really hot on the East Coast. It got cool yesterday. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, it got really cool yesterday. Um, so we think that it's gonna be warm and we're in the heart of it. Oh, Jeff Bezos got married. Whoop de doo. So what? Um, I'm sorry. I don't care. Amazon's his company, but if he got married, he got married. More, you know, it is what it is. You spent millions of dollars and you got it done. And but that's all I can say about that. So, but there's absolutely nothing going on in the entertainment world, nothing in the sports world. I will give you some baseball scores. Um, it's just really nothing out there. Um, really nothing going on, ladies and gentlemen. Really nothing. But for the time being, let's get the show started. So, like I was saying, we're going to talk about the integrated circuits or semiconductors that are used in each of our devices that we use. We might have a radio. Okay. I'm gonna take that back. Not a radio. That's my time back in the day. But we might have a cell phone. You got circuitry in there. Okay. My headphones I'm wearing right now, these Sonys, of course, they're made in Japan, but they have the capabilities of producing circuits for these headphones. Okay. Your laptop computers, some of them are made in China, some of them are made in Mexico. Okay. We don't get it twisted now, ladies and gentlemen. We do have production in the United States, but it's nowhere what it is, and especially in Taiwan, China, and Japan. Okay, they are able to produce so much more chips that are needed for our television, stereo systems, you name it. You name even your washer and dryers, your refrigerators. Okay, it's really coming to a point where we really need to think about this because this, if we can have it where we're able to drive prices down, not be relying on the Asian countries. Don't get twisted. They're still going to be coming, the chips from there. Okay. But we won't be so self reliant on them all the time being shipped over here. Now we got the situation with the tariffs. That's another thing. So it's driving the cost of your computer, your audio interface, anything that needs any kind of chips, integrated circuits that you're going to need it. Okay. So you're probably saying to yourself, what are integrated circuits? What are they? Okay. Microchips. That's basically what they are. They're basically miniaturized, very small electronic circuits that are put on a what they call it a semiconductor wafer, silicon. Okay, that's what you think of Silicon Valley because a lot they got production companies over there. Um, and a lot of these circuits have transistors, resistors, and all different kind of EPROMs. They have those on there too, and it's all done on a semiconductor material. All right, and this is where you have your ICs or your semiconductor chips. This is where it comes into. All right. But like the integrated circuit is like a broader term. A miniaturized electronic, that's you think everything like a gadget like you see on TV on the programs and stuff like that. They're putting bug detectors in there. It's not like that, ladies and gentlemen, not at all. But it's got multiple components on a single semiconductor. Um, you can kind of say like a plate, something like that matter. Okay, but yeah, so like I said, this is where we get everything, our like I said, transistors, resistors, and all that stuff into the chips. Okay, the reason why I'm bringing this up, ladies and gentlemen, because we are really really behind in the production of the chips. I don't know why that popped up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. But we are really behind eight ball in producing semiconductor chips. We don't have enough factories here in the United States. But when Joe Biden was president, he put in the CHIPS Act, which government was giving $450 million to private investment. You know who they are, okay? Um, to come up with ideas to create more production. We need chip manufacturing, IC production done. All right. And these were grants that were given to these companies. But they're saying they're trying to get tripled in the semiconductor field manufacturing by 2032. All right. That's not that far away, ladies and gentlemen. But the problem is we have to train people for this. Okay. And this is where we're coming in on the STEM. Um, this is where STEM comes in, and it starts really right now. Okay, it really starts right now, and we really need to get this rolling because it, we definitely need it. We definitely need it, ladies and gentlemen. We definitely need this because it's really vital because we want to have young men and young lady, to be bright and just be help out, okay? And we really need this, especially where we are right now with the microchips, semiconductors, integrated circuits. We really need that. So with the STEM programs that they're trying to produce, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, it's really, really vital because in order to create more stability in our kids working the STEM is because you have to be specially trained to do this. You just can't just say, okay, we're gonna produce these chips. and we're going to throw a bunch of people out there. No, it doesn't work that way because it's very special um, training that's needed. Okay, so you have to wear. I know for certain you have to wear anti-static jackets and straps on your feet because when you're producing some of these chips, okay, and you're putting them on the boards, okay, you could just if you didn't have an anti-static jacket or the straps on your feet, you could ruin those circuits. True story. That's why you have to have when you like sometimes you heard of stories where people were they're rubbing their feet on the carpet and they get a shock. Okay, that's static. You don't want that to happen in these integrated circuits because that'll ruin the whole production or ruin a device. All right, but the investment that Joe Biden gave in that grant because it's going to help, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to help some, but we are so far behind the eight ball. Okay, we really need this. So the companies that got money to produce now it takes a while to produce factories to start up for integrated circuits. It's not in one two. It's not an overnight situation, ladies and gentlemen. Not at all. Okay, but we have funding from outside vendors. Okay, um, we have TSMC. They are one of the largest um, chip companies in the world. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. They are very, very large. Okay, they also produce chips for your cell phones, your iPhones, and everything else. I'm telling you, they are huge. All right. So they're given some funding, but they made so much money over the years, they can afford this. United States is starting from a blueprint where we're starting basically from scratch. Okay. But like I said earlier, to do this, we need to have the STEM for students right now. We definitely need to have that. And it's somewhat working, but I hope the children in the future can get a hold of opportunities like that. They'll be so profitable in the future. Okay, but we definitely need that because we're right now we have a talent gap where we don't have people set up for this. Okay, it takes a long time to learn how to create chips. You definitely have to do that. Okay, like I said, we do have funding for building TSMC. Like I said earlier, they're providing they're building fabrication plants in the United States, and the CHIPS Act is helping. But it costs a lot of money to do this. Okay, here's the next hurdle. Next thing that's stopping it is, like I said, the high cost. Things are expensive here in the United States, so not only is the manufacturing going to be costly, but getting people to work in these um, positions is going to be the next factor because you can't just pay a person minimum wage because this is considered a very high tech skill that you're learning. So those people that are learned have been training for this, they'll have to be paid at a certain amount of money because you can't just throw them in there. You have to this is something that has to be trained and learned over this. All right. The chips, United States, we are so behind. Um, it's ridiculous. But the manufacturing chips is more here in the United States. Only to us, the United States does make chips. All right. Like I said, Silicon Valley, they were known for making chips over there. We'll get into all that. Okay. It is the cost of labor here is much cost of producing and production of chips are much cheaper in the Asian countries than it is the United States. We already went over that. Like I said, we are short of skilled labor for this. We're going to need more engineers, technicians, um, in order to make profitable and to create chips that are worthwhile for us to be built here in the United States. All right. Also, we need people that are going to learn how to install these chips into the new technologies. There might be something coming up, right? But we're going to need new circuitry. We're going to need um, more integrated circuits. We're definitely going to need that, ladies and this is not the end. Chat GPT, you're going to need multiple servers and all kind of computers to run that. What's included in those computers? Semiconductors, integrated circuits. We're going to need a lot of people for that. Okay, we're definitely going to need that. Like I said, the Chips Act of 2024. We're going to create more domestic manufacturing, investing in research and development, and we're definitely going to. But like I said, we are behind the eight ball, ladies and gentlemen. The United States does excel in chip design and semiconductor research, but it's just the production of getting this done is the problem. Okay. Um, like I said, we got to outsource um, stuff out to Eastern Asian countries. Okay. But we're trying. So the main countries that are doing this, that are jumping ahead of the United States or China, Japan, Taiwan, South Korea, North Korea, Mongolia, and Hong Kong's part of China. It used to be owned by the British, but then China took over. But it's so much more cheaper. So a lot of companies, I know one from one, I'm not going to mention their name, but they do buy integrated circuits from Hong Kong, Taiwan, and have them shipped over. All of them do it. I don't care what anybody say. Majority of companies in the United States do buy a lot of the integrated circuits overseas because it's much cheaper. Because we can't, if we have them built continuously here, it's very expensive because we got to pay for all kind of stuff here in the United States. Okay, 20% of the world's leading edge semiconductors are made in America. Okay, um, but the problem is we make zero of the world's leading edge semiconductors. Okay. So when Biden was president last year, he made an effort to say, "Hey, we're going to come back very soon." Now he's not president anymore. I don't know what Trump is going to do, but it's a very serious situation. I don't care who's president of the United States. It's a problem that really needs a lot of thinking and a lot of processes. And hopefully, we can get the people trained up to do this. So we really need, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to say this, we really need to have those integrated circuits built in the United States. We really do. Okay. Um, and there's another reason why we can't have integrated circuits. Why can't we be more productive than Taiwan, Japan? Why can't we? All right. First thing I was saying earlier, the complex supply chain, um, this lack of developed domestic ecosystem. Okay. You know how ecosystem here in the United States, as complicated as it is, you got to go through this person, that person to come up with a way of having an ecosystem where this can go here, this can get thrown here, this can get taken care of here. But it's so complex. So you got to go through so many boards and everything. That's the problem. Okay. And also, Taiwan and South Korea, they have advanced manufacturing for building integrated circuits and semiconductors. Okay. And some of these countries like Taiwan, they spent billions, probably billions. They did spend billions of dollars on ecosystem. Okay, where it includes suppliers and needed to build the chips and everything. And you got a workforce. It's already talented and ready to go. They're already skilled. So you got a person. We've got a manufacturing plant that's been building chips for, like, say, 20, 30 years. Okay, you got another set of people over here that are training up. So when it's time for those people to go away or they want to retire, guess what? We got an influx of people right behind them, okay, to start and produce more chips. United States, we're going to start from basically from nothing in some places. But you have to take in considerations someone is making an effort to get the chips made home. That's right. Make the chips home. I'm trying to bring the American spirited, that type of thing. But we definitely need more engineers. We need material scientists. We need technicians. We need all of that. Okay. Because like I said, we are behind the eight ball from other countries, believe it or not. Okay. We are all the United States is a leader in chip design for research development, and Nvidia. You got the Nvidia graphics cards uh, that are in your PCs. Unbelievable. They're making billions and billions of dollars. Okay. Intel. Intel's building processors, still building processors for your computers. Okay. They're trying to help out. Okay. But 100% advanced chips are developed over in Asia. Okay. Mostly by Taiwan, in Taiwan by TSMC. Um, there's nothing to do or say to get around that because they're number one, and there's not a damn thing you can do about, ladies and gentlemen, because that's not going to change at all. Okay, but there is hope. There is hope, ladies and gentlemen. Besides California builds a lot of chips, Arizona is coming on. TSMC um, has a facility in Arizona and mostly in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, so yeah, so they're building a lot. They're building chips there, so it's really very important. Intel has a company in also in Arizona in Chandler, and these are new plans for building a Intel chip manufacturing in Chandler, Arizona. So that's a thought. I mean, it's there. The United States is not slouchy, but at least someone's got balls to come out and say, "Hey, man, we're losing the game. We got to do this." Okay, Texas has always been there. Okay, um, Samsung has invested a lot in Texas, in Taylor, Texas, and they're going to build a new facility there, and it should be ready very soon, and should have good manufacturing there for the next 2 decades. Like I said, we still need the people in there. Okay, so you young men and young ladies out there, if you can get into a STEM program and learn how to and get into a class or a training in helping and doing the production of chips, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it might not be in my lifetime. Maybe my sons or my granddaughters. It's just a thought. Someone has made a concerted effort to try to do this because I think this will help bring down the cost of all of electronics. But still, like I said, your iPhone is still gonna be made in China. I don't care what anybody says. It's going to be too expensive to take the iPhone production and bring it over here because the phone, what do they cost? $1,200 for an iPhone, okay? $1,300. So that phone probably double, triple the price here in the United States, okay? It really would, and that's something to think about. It's really, I think, like I said, the initiative is there. And you know what? Let's give a round of applause. Okay, enough of that. And let's play a little music to make things calm. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, in Texas, like I said, they're trying. Texas Instruments always been there. My sister lives close by that facility, and she lives in Allen, Texas, and I saw the facility. So there's a company that's really, really doing it, making chips. Okay, state of New York, all right, mostly in upstate New York. Um, they're looking to build a hub for semiconductor manufacturing. Micron, which is huge, they're building the mega fabs here, and Global Foundries is also expanding its facilities that they have already here. So that's good. Ohio, Intel's building a very large facility in near Columbus, Ohio. This might be the largest single private sector investment in Ohio's history. Idaho, well, Micron technology is already there, ladies and gentlemen. So they're building a new DRAM facility in Boise, Idaho. Okay, Oregon. Um, they're building a new microchip facility in Gresham from the CHIPS Act. So, hey, it's working. Some of that $450 million grant, hey, there you go, right here. Florida, Rogue Valley Micro Devices building a new facility in Palm Bay, Utah. really blown up out there. Okay. Rogue Valley Micro Devices built a new facility in Palm Bay. And New Mexico is also Intel is converting old factory, whatever, and converting it into packaging facilities. So they're making an effort out there, ladies and gentlemen. But we really, really, really need cooperation between private investment, our schools, and maybe a little bit of the federal government. So I'm gonna leave it on that note, ladies and gentlemen. There's hope that the price of electronic devices will go down, but we're gonna need the actual investment and in talent to do this and overtake countries like Taiwan, China, and places like that. All right. So, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to sound like a mean old American, but we definitely need that. So, we're going to end the note with this beautiful song called Lighter Than Air. I hope you enjoy your Saturday. Stay cool and calm, collected, and God bless you all. And enjoy the song. Well, we'll do Tokyo After Dark. How's that sound? All right, ladies and gentlemen, Tokyo After Dark. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. Take care. We'll try to do a show next week before 4th of July. God bless.